what I find to be one of the silliest things ever? A profession I find to be really silly.
Okay, that's more specific. That could have been a lot of stuff.
I find a lot of
profession.
A profession I find to be the silliest thing ever. You've got a little spoiler into this, but if you had to guess based off of only the knowledge you have in your brain, what would it be?
Masseuse.
Well, I mean, you're not far off.
Just that name.
I'd say. Yeah,
Masseuse.
Now, if we get into words that I find to be silly, it would be here all day. But to expedite this, the beginning of this story that I have prescribed to this podcast, I got my back professionally cracked today.
What's it having issues?
No. Well, I've got my back is like uneven. I don't know. I've probably never showed you, and I can't show you because this is a podcast medium, but yeah, everything's a little off kilter. I don't have scoliosis, and it doesn't cause any problems unless I'm sitting in a really rough or hard chair, which I experienced with that Secret Labs Omega chair I got.
Now, is it the spine or the back? Or?
It's like the back itself. The left side sticks out farther than the right.
Interesting.
Something like that. My heart's also like tilted, apparently. That's a thing. Yeah, a perma-tilt. But I realized my benefits allow me to go to the chiropractor 30 times a year for no charge. And I was like, okay.
30 times a year?
30.
Who needs to go that often?
Well, really think about it. If you go once a month, that's 12. But if you have a really terrible back and you need adjustments like every 2 weeks, that's like 24 and some change. You know?
I guess. But that's a lot.
I thought the same thing. And then if you really needed to go to the chiropractor, you'd probably go about that many times a year.
How long are the sessions?
It was just 30 minutes. And for the normal person, you probably pop your hands every once in a while, right? I do it, little cricks and cracks. Feels nice. Imagine paying somebody to do that to your whole body just because you can't do it.
Now, is it like a massage where you go in, strip off your clothes?
No, okay,
get down?
no.
I've never been to a chiropractor.
If you check, I hadn't either. I had not been to a chiropractor prior to this point. And I enter the building after a nice 18-minute walk in a very weird, warm Chicago November. It was odd. Get there, and I say, look, sir, Dr. Justin is his name. I have not done this before. And he goes, okay, well, have you ever had any sort of adjustment or anything at all from a doctor before? No.
So they call them adjustments.
Yes. And he goes,
scary.
Well, have you ever had a massage before? I go, no. He flat out says, well, I don't know how to help you.
All right, thank you,
As
doctor.
in he doesn't know how to give me some sort of analog for the thing. And I'm like, that's cool. And he keeps asking me questions like I'm sitting down. It's a very typical doctor's appointment where he's like, okay, do you do this, this, and that? He's typing on his computer. And I'm like, my back is kind of uneven. It's easier to just show me. He goes, huh, right. And then he gets right to work, poking, touching my back and whatnot. And then he asks, do you work out? I'm like, do I? No. And he goes, oh, okay. You sit at your desk a lot? That I do. Do you sit at a desk for work? Yep. And I continued to do it for literally the rest of the day. Probably 12 hours of my day is literally just sitting at a desk and then to the bed. Didn't say that exactly.
That's the whole day, pretty much.
That's the whole day. And then from there, he proceeds to put a warm blanket on my back, like a heated one.
And this is why you're still sitting at his desk? I'm
sitting on one of those fancy chairs that they can move around and adjust for you to lay down on. But he just throws it on my back while I'm laying face down. And he goes, sit there for a minute. I'm like, okay. And he just leaves. Music? No, he just leaves for I don't know, it seemed like 8 to 10 minutes. A decent amount of time for having just gotten here. So half of my appointment is basically just sitting with a warm blanket on my back.
Leaving you with your thoughts?
Leaving me with my thoughts. And then he comes back, takes it off, and he just basically gives me a massage where he occasionally twists my body to where it cracks or pops. But Ryan, they were the best cracks and pops I've ever experienced in my life.
Life-changing?
Life-changing. I am about chiropractic. I will stop making fun of the profession.
So you're going back?
Oh yeah, I got an appointment all set up for December 7th. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. But you know what?
Wow.
You got to go to fix your backbone. And you know what the backbone of D&D stuff is?
Wait, so are you saying I should go?
Oh yeah, you should go.
Really?
I mean, if you sit down all the time, might as well get your back checked out.
Is it like after you got the dentist, you just feel different?
I feel a little more spry. Like I push my shoulder blades together and it feels a little less tense. My muscles feel less like knotted up. He popped my neck, and man, that takes a lot of trust. And he just like turns it all the way sideways, and with a jerk goes. I'm like, oh, didn't know it could do that. I'm probably dead now. I'm not dead.
Did it hurt?
It's surprising, but it feels good.
It's like it hurts for like a split second. It's like, oh.
It's not. It doesn't feel good, but like the cracking and the popping is so satisfying, and after it, you feel a bit lighter.
Dude, those are like the same. I bet the guys that get into the chiropractic business are the same people that love watching pimples get popped on YouTube. It's just that feeling, you know.
Dude, you got to be strong to do it, because he essentially would have me like lay on my side and push one leg all the way over to the right and have to push his entire force of his body down so it would go my hips. I didn't know my hips could pop.
Was he? So I have a mental image in my head of him having like ripped sleeves and like
he was
rippling muscles. Yeah,
he was pretty. He had some good 5-star reviews. Wow. I imagine he's popular with the ladies.
See, you're having fun and chilling like that. I've just been at work in the COVID unit right now.
Oh, you're working the COVID unit?
Yeah, full PPE gear, working with just like 4 or 5 patients that have COVID.
Seriously?
Yeah, all old folks. Because no one else wants to do it, and I'll do it. You get some hazard pay at the very least. But
damn,
it's crazy. 8 hours in this full PPE gear. It sucks.
That doesn't sound fun. That is the opposite of what I experienced today.
And man, I was so frustrated because we got a TV back there for the 4 patients, and they wanted to watch a movie. I put it on, a movie called The Outsiders, this old 80s movie, never seen it. We get about halfway into it, and she's like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep. We'll watch the rest of it later. Okay, cool, whatever. And I was like, it's kind of interesting, fine. She comes back out later after dinner and says, you know what? I want to watch some TV. We turn it back on, and I'm trying to get the remote working to find the right scene that we're at. And she's like, you know what? I'd rather just watch from the beginning again. Like, I'm never going to finish this film, dude. And she stopped it again about 3/4 of the way in this time. There was like a big violent scene. She's like, you know what? That's probably enough for today. Like, but we're so close. Let me finish the film, dude. So I looked it up. After she went to bed, I looked up what happens in it just so I could know. It was worth it. It probably had 20 minutes left, too.
Oh, my God. I would be so frustrated.
Yeah, it's not even like I wanted to know. I didn't even care enough to want to know what happened. It's just now it's the principle of the thing, right? It's like getting that close to finishing whatever project you're on and then just leaving it.
Oh my God. I can't just imagine your face.
Yeah, I thought we were doing it.
It's like, just let me finish it. That's me at you whenever you like take forever to finish an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
It's me watching it through Demon Slayer.
Yeah, and now everybody is going insane over. You can't in Japan. Apparently, you can't wear like a green and black or green and really deep maroon checkered shirt without people being like, "That is not a Demon Slayer thing." Oh boy! So now it's not cool to like Demon Slayer because everybody likes Demon Slayer.
Okay. What's the cool thing to like now?
Can we go back to JoJo? I'm fine with that.
I actually watched. I had half of mine, so. No, my girlfriend and I watched a movie last night called Jojo Rabbit, and I had half of mine to send you a text and say, "Hey, we're watching JoJo," and I knew you'd probably lose your mind, so I decided against it.
Jojo Rabbit, like no, that's Roger Rabbit.
No, it's a movie came out last year. It's very good.
Was it? It was good.
Very good. Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, I don't know if I've told you about Devs. Have you seen Devs?
No.
That's a good TV show. We'll get into that. It's a long interlude into explaining that show. But can I continue my?
Yeah, sorry. Do your segue.
My segue that was interrupted. Okay, so get into a time machine and pretend that we're still in the chiropractic discussion, talking about bones. Hey Ryan, you know what is the backbone of every D&D content that gets released?
The table of contents.
The table of contents. Yay. Part of that got leaked for Tasha's bubbly rumble, toil, and trouble book that's coming out on the 17th.
Cauldron of everything.
Tasha's Cauldron of everything.
Coming out exactly a week from today.
Exactly 1 week from.
How do you feel about leaks?
In this case, I don't like them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what the content itself is. Like, if it's a video game or some sort of media I'm experiencing, spoilers aren't fun.
Right.
No, thanks.
But leaks, let's say a leak for, like, it's supposed to be announced on Tuesday, and then, like, the PS5s get announced, like, 3 days earlier by a Walmart pre-order that got put up by accident.
Oh, I don't care about that. That's just a confirmation. Honestly, that puts me at ease. But as long as it's not media or something I'm planning on consuming, we're all good.
See, something like this table of contents, I'm okay with this thing existing because, I mean, I'm gonna read it. I already pre-ordered it. I'm getting it no matter what. And I'd say if you're let's say someone's on the fence of getting this, they could just skim through this table of contents, and be like, okay, this looks like something I could utilize. So if it was like majority DM stuff, then players might not want to get it, or vice versa. But it's a good mix, from what I can tell.
Was there a chance that you would have been disappointed with certain content that would have shown up on this, and you would have been like, "Oh, I don't know if I want it"?
No. I mean, granted, I don't know what the subclasses are like. I don't know what any of this is like. Just the names of them.
Are you sure that we haven't covered like half of them?
It's true, but I don't know what's been changed, right? I don't know if they're viable, if they're fun, if they're interesting. So I'm more so going to be disappointed if they somehow screw that type of stuff up.
Let me tell you, if I was on the fence about getting Tasha's Cauldron, which I definitely wasn't, considering how big of a fan I am of Xanathar's Guide, some of the names of things in this table of contents would have 100% sold me on getting this book if I hadn't spent money on it already. Let me tell you. We'll get to them, but some of these are spicy.
Take it from the top. I guess if you're interested in this and really don't want to know what's in the book until the 17th in a week, then tune out now, because we're just going to be going down the table of contents, talking about our thoughts, what we think it's going to be about.
Yeah, these table of contents have been out for a few weeks now. Kenneth, who's been on the podcast before, like in the Shadowfell episode, or when we went over Icewind Dale, that long episode, if you have a good ride to go on, it's a good one to listen to. These came out, Kenneth sent them to us, and if you browse Reddit or anything, you've probably seen these already. I don't know if this is the entirety of the thing, but it's got 4 chapters to it, and like Ryan said...
Yeah. The entire book is 193 pages.
Okay, so we're missing... Well, the last one might go on for 3 pages, so this is probably the whole thing.
Yeah, like credits or glossary or something.
Okay, all right, so are you ready?
Yeah, looks like this leak came from IGN, which is interesting.
What?
Yeah, you see that in the top right, the little watermark?
That's totally planned. Which is the coast one? Hey. Do you think people do that?
Oh, I bet.
Like planned leaks? If somebody's going to leak it, we might as well. Definitely. Yeah. That's probably a thing. I just got to wonder what it was, because these things cause mass hysteria. This one's a little bit calmer. Like here, the first thing, page 4, is using the book, how to use it. And I can imagine that literally says you do not have to buy a bunch of other things. You can use this if you want. This is just an addition, kind of like that disclaimer that they usually have had for playtest content. Something similar to that, right?
I'm going to check real quick if Xanathar's has how to use it. It does, yeah. It basically just says, this is written for both players and dungeon masters. You can use this however you want to use it in your game and in your stuff. That's about it.
Right. Cool. But then you get straight into it with...
straight into it.
Chapter 1, character options. And, we could skip straight to the subclasses because there's a good old chunk of them. But it begins with stuff customizing your origin, which I imagine adds some backgrounds or telling you.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be similar to Xanathar's, like... choose your life thing, or whatever that's called, but it's a page, so I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Something else that is really intriguing me too, and I didn't notice this first, but the next 2 pages on 8, after customizing origin, is changing a skill and changing your subclass.
That's
not
huge.
multi-classing, changing it.
I think, I mean, I've considered this when you've done this.
Yes.
We've done this in our own way, and I can very much see, and I know in other, like, live play games, this has happened where, like, someone's character goes through a big change and they're no longer a warlock, or they're not in the same patron or something, and they have to switch to fit the character.
Yeah.
Now it'd be nice to have an official way to do that, which I guess they're doing.
But I can't see it being, given it's like, I guess it's a whole page itself.
Yeah,
but
what would they say?
What I'm thinking is it's less of a mechanic and more just guidance on how to either RP or for the DM to get the player to think about it in more of a, does this make sense kind of way? How to
They could make it mechanical.
Really?
Somehow. I could see that's what they did with, I mean, I guess multi-classing is definitely different, but they made it where if you want to go into this class, then you have to have X amount in your strength,
I wonder if it's going to have like a literal, on a long rest, you must do this or whatever.
Or you lose something? Like you lose a level? I mean, that'd be a little extreme.
Like changing what is a skill, quote unquote? Because we have feats, we have spells, a bunch of other things. What does a skill constitute?
Would that be what you're proficient in?
Oh, duh. Probably.
But that's a weird way to say it. Yeah, changing a skill.
Yeah, I need that. We got too many people good at history and whatnot in our group.
Yeah,
we'll see. Well,
so you don't know what everyone's choosing when you make your character. Like maybe in our game, there's gonna be in your
but we're like the Three
play.
Stooges who are proficient and have a really high score in history and arcana and religion, and some of us have just like one more point than the other person. And it's just like, you might as well do it. We won't change it. I know how you feel about introducing stuff mid-game. And, it's real. That's how we are. It's okay if it doesn't make sense. Do you want to jump into Artificer? That's the next part.
Yeah, Artificer was in an Unearthed Arcana a long, long time ago.
Yes.
And then it was brought into the...
Wildmount?
No, the... E starts with an E.
Eberron?
Eberron, there it is. Teamwork.
How do you forget that?
I don't know, man.
Your whole campaign's basically based off of that, except tweaked a bit.
Kind of. Parts of it are.
Yeah.
So it was brought into Eberron, and we even talked about when it came out how we like that it's in an official material, but it's still a part of a setting, and it would feel weird to pull it out from that. Now they're making it fully.
Get it in.
Yeah. Put it in a Player's Handbook 2.0 kind of.
In fashion with probably all of the classes, it begins with the class features that regardless of whatever subclass you go with, you get these at X level.
Yep.
And that goes on for like 3 pages. So Artificer starts at 9, class features on 11, and then at 14.
Yeah, because this is going to be the full Artificer information, while the other classes we'll get to are covered already in the Player's Handbook.
Xanathars didn't introduce an entire new class, right?
Nope. It just had 2 or 3 subclasses for every class.
And Artificer is in Eberron.
Yes.
Fully, right? So I wonder if this is going to have any changes, do you think?
No, I doubt it has any changes. I'm going to look real fast if it has any extra subclasses.
That's what I'm assuming is the only thing, like Battlesmith I don't remember hearing about. But to blast through these guys like Jimmy Neutron, you've got Alchemist, Armorer, Artillerist, Battlesmith, and then Artificer infusions, which you bring into the things you create. Which you can assume Alchemist against potions and whatnot, which might be one of the most invaluable members you could have if there aren't potion shops. Potion seller. Do you know that meme?
No, I still don't see it.
You need to watch it. It's a good one. I hope some of you out there understood that. And then Armorer.
So this seems to add the final two.
Artillerist and Battlesmith.
No, never mind. I take that back. It just... Okay, hold on. So it has Alchemist in Eberron. It then has Artillerist and Battlesmith. So just those 3. So it adds none.
Okay.
Wait, it's putting it in. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. It adds armor, right?
I guess.
Yeah, it adds armor. Yeah.
I mean, I can see why they would bring it into this source book, because this is a more agnostic book that you can just bring in for everything versus buying a campaign setting.
Oh, definitely.
You don't want to just buy it because the Artificer subclass is in there, or the Artificer class is in there, and if you're not interested in Eberron, then I guess you're just shit out of luck. You paid money for it. So this makes a lot of sense.
It's a way to make it more official. I'm curious if they will change the description a little bit, because it says here in Eberron, in the world of Eberron. So,
yeah. Okay.
Or Eberron's main travel routes are this and this. So I could see them maybe changing the terminology a tad.
Yeah, so if you know the Artificer class, then you know everything that's in here. We'll find out what the extra one is whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I'd imagine armor just means that they can maybe craft armor. I don't know.
Or like temporary buffs too. I don't know. This class is hard to balance to me.
The Artificer's it's a cool little beast, and once we dive into like making an episode in each class, this will be a fun one to cover.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of alphabetical class order, we got Barbarian next. So most of these classes, or all of them, I am assuming are from the Unearthed Arcanas that we've covered before, because we have...
I don't recognize Path of the Beast.
Isn't that just Barbarian General?
That's kind of...
Wild Magic, I assume, is the Feywild one, right?
No, Path of the Beast. So these are both from Unearthed Arcana. Just double checked.
Yeah. I mean, Wild Magic is the one with the Fey flavoring. Right?
No.
No?
The Fey one's not in here.
What was that one?
That was a different one. The Path of Wild Magic's the one where it started giving the barbarians not really spells, but allowed them to tap into.
Path of the Beast was in Subclasses Part 1, published on January 14th. Okay. Then I'm not seeing Barbarian Monk, August.
Wild Magic was definitely in there, right?
The Barbarian receives a primal path,
right here.
Wild Soul.
No, that's Sorcerer.
Wild Magic.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. It's got to be the primal path feature, Path of the Wild Soul.
You're right. It is the Feywild one. Yeah, they just tweaked it, I guess, a little bit.
Well, look who was right.
Yeah, because this one had, Wild Surges at the Wazoo in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious why they changed it from what they called it then.
Well, they've changed a lot, and by a lot, I mean the one that I care about, the name, so I noticed it right away.
I think Wild Magic, honestly, that title, I think it sounds lame. I think Wild Soul was just much cooler.
Yeah, but Wild Magic just, is easier to digest, you know?
If I recall, I thought we felt this one being a little...
strong?
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah, I think I was in person for that one. It was a good one. It was a good time.
This was the one that... No, I think the one that we really thought was overpowered is not in here. It was one that had to do with the resting, and getting and buffing other people's magic.
Oh, yeah, you had that whole... Yeah, I remember that thing. All right, well, that's it for the Barbarian.
That one's not in here.
Moving to the Bard. We know both of them. I don't think these names have been changed at all. Oh, and we didn't mention at the beginning of Barbarian, and from each of these it says optional class features, where I'm assuming it's going to be the addendum that says you may... in contrast to the original player's handbook class options, class features, you can replace all of these if you want for the ones that used to be. You must do all. Right. You can't pick and choose, but you're D&D. You do what you want, but you don't have to. And a lot of it was on a short or long, on a long rest specifically, you'd be able to change spells or something like this. It was a lot of quality of life things. So you may be quite interested in that. Each of these classes have that. So the Bard starts with optional class features and then goes to College of Creation and Eloquence. So
Eloquence was my favorite.
Eloquence was speaking a lot, right?
Yeah, it was a logic-based one.
Yeah.
Instead of playing music.
What was creation?
That's forgettable, I'll tell you that.
I can't, what are they creating?
No, it's just about the song of creation, bringing stuff into existence and whatnot.
Okay, so what's not in here?
Feels cleric-y. I couldn't tell you.
No, I mean the spirit. What is it? The College of Spirits isn't in here. And that was recently. It was August.
True.
It's most recently, so that one's not. If you're looking forward to that one, it's not in here.
I'm curious how they choose which ones. I guess whichever ones could get balanced well would go in here.
Well, I'm just guessing since it was more recently, this is going in the next thing that they're making. It's my assumption because this was along with the one that came after it. No, that was the most recent Unearthed Arcana.
So what's the next thing you think they'd be making? Another one of these? Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, since Artificer was in Eberron, I'm sure they add more new there hasn't been a new source book from Wizards of the Coast specifically since what? It's been a while.
Eberron?
Yeah, when did that come out? It's been a little
this
bit.
This year, I think it was the beginning of this year or late last year.
No, Eberron.
Okay, man, take it easy.
It'll be like Eberron release date. There's no way. 2019. Remember 2019?
Yeah, you're right.
It's been almost exactly a year. Okay, it feels like it's been longer. But Wildmount came out, which is more,
critical
from an
role
alternate
focused.
author, critical role focus. And they've been doing some revamp stuff with literally the Curse of Strahd and
that's gotta be a different team, though. I would imagine.
Yeah, probably. So I would assume just another source book or something. I highly doubt
because we had an adventure that came out recently. Then we had this, and before that was Wildmount, and then we also had Descent into Avernus. I think they usually do it seemed like 2 or maybe 3 adventures a year, and then maybe one like this every 2 years.
Yeah, and you think about it. Not saying that this sort of pen and paper content is easier by any means to develop than a video game or something with assets digitally that you have to play test and coding and whatnot. But I would imagine it's a bit, if you wanted to, you could bust these sorts of things out pretty quickly, foregoing art quality, like if you really just wanted to toss it out there. So I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
That's what Unearthed Arcana is for.
It's very true. I love me some Unearthed Arcana. So tasty. But yeah, Bards, there. We've read up on all of those as well. The Cleric shows up, again, with the optional class features, but with the Order domain, the Peace domain, and the Twilight domain, which vaguely I remember all 3 of those. I just feel like it's been forever since we've talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think they've done very many Cleric Unearthed Arcanas. I remember liking the Twilight one because that was like Shadowfell focused. Yeah. I don't really. The other ones are very forgettable to me. To me, honestly, Cleric, I feel like is a very basic class. Nothing they do very excites me very much.
Well, there was the Unity domain for the Cleric, which I would assume is the Order domain.
I'd say Unity would be Peace.
Unity is, I could see either. I could see arguments for either.
I do see an interesting Order domain takes up Page, and Peace takes up 2.
Back in October of 2019, there was the Twilight domain. Okay,
yeah,
so that's
the Shadowfell one.
And then let me see if there's any more. Cleric, Unity. No, I'm just seeing those 2 on the page I'm looking at. I don't know what the Peace or Order, respectively, would be for. I'm not seeing.
Interesting.
Twilight, Unity.
Oh, here. Okay, so I found the Order domain from 2018. It's separate Unearthed Arcana.
Seriously?
Before we started covering it.
Man, I guess we just missed it then. Okay, so Unity is Peace. Okay. I'll concede you were right on that one. Interesting. Yeah, so the Cleric, in comparison to the other 2, gets 3 new subclasses. That's kind of tasty, isn't it?
It is, especially if they're working on that one for 2 years.
Yeah, it's been in the oven for a while. It better be nice and ready to pop out. And
like I said, Artificer was there for, God, I don't know how long it was there for, but it was in the oven for a good long while.
I imagine a whole entire class needs just a bit more playtesting. Playtesting for this kind of stuff makes me so interesting.
I think the original Artificer was 2017, maybe?
My word. And you there's been a lot of fan-made stuff for robotic classes like these.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
For sure. So, moving forward as well from the Cleric, I mean, the Order, Peace, and Twilight domain, Cleric basic. I don't remember anything standing out specifically other than the flavoring. And then the Druid is where things got real cool. I remember we stuck on that for a bit. So again, the optional class features followed by circles of spores, of stars, and of wildfire.
I remember the wildfire one.
I think
it was called something different, but not positive.
I think all of these were called completely different. I don't remember any. So let me do a little Control F Druid.
Circle of Stars sounds sick.
Druid class receive 3 place off. Define domain option, the Twilight domain. Okay, so that one is no, it's the Cleric. Circle of Wildfire is the same.
Okay, yeah, Circle of Stars is in here too.
Circle of Stars. Yeah. And then where's the other one? Maybe it was from a long time ago because I don't remember Spores at all.
I remember these a little bit. Okay.
Do you see Spores anywhere?
Yeah, so Spores was in Ravnica. So they're also bringing this into a full-on official material.
See, that's so nice because they could be super scummy like a lot of video game companies do, or maybe other tabletop add-ons accomplish as well. But now you don't have to go around and get these source books like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, just to play
for this one
class.
thing. You know, whether you sail the seven seas or not, still it's a little bit of a nicety to have the actual content itself and support Wizards of the Coast. So this is really cool.
Order Domain was also in there.
Really?
Yeah, those are the only two subclasses in the whole book, were Order Domain and Circle of Spores.
Huh. Circle of Spores makes sense considering Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of those types of characters.
Yeah, it's for the Golgari, I bet.
Yep. Ugh. Kenneth, disgusting. Your deck was terrible.
Hey, man.
There's a commander deck that Kenneth had that had the Golgari in it. It's just,
Golgari's fun.
So crazy. And then
I do recommend that book, though, if you guys have not checked out Kid Master's Guide to Ravnica. Even if you don't care for that setting, just the work that went into all the different factions in here is great to steal from.
Well, I mean, for me, when I think of Magic the Gathering, I think of unreasonably amazing artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It is ridiculous.
Even just like the lore is really cool.
Yeah,
too.
and that's what I was gonna say too. The lore for Magic the Gathering, you can just play the game, look at the numbers and the effects, and that's it. But there's an entire world out there that is
a lot of worlds,
immaculate worlds. It is amazing. So,
Ravnica is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Ravnica is really, really cool. Lots of tragic stuff.
And Innistrad, my others.
And then Fighter comes up after Druid, of course, as F is after D. And he gets a little more.
Fighter sucks.
Fighter's fun, I would say. I could see me if I wasn't gonna play Warlock, a Fighter might be something I would look at because I do like having that sort of versatility, even if it is bland. But this would bring some flavor to it. You get some new maneuver options, which we covered in another podcast, of course, as well, on our Arcana. Just look for the Fighter one or any of the respective in our list of episodes. You can see them if you want to dive into it a little bit more.
I remember both of these.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
And then you got the Psy Warrior and the Rune Knight. Both of those were pretty cool. I think they weren't like super insane. Like they weren't overwhelming.
They made me at least find Fighter interesting. I wasn't upset with them. I thought if I were to play Fighter, I'd probably play one of those too.
Yep, agreed.
Honestly, probably the Psy Warrior because Psionics.
Yeah, Psionics are really cool. And we thought they were going to make a Psionic book, but I arguably would say this is better than that.
I don't know. I disagree.
You disagree. Well, we'll disagree
because
to disagree.
Can you imagine a Far Realm themed book?
Listen, I understand the implication. There's a little bit of the Far Realms in here.
Honestly, what I would love is if they did a adventure, and not really a spoiler. I guess they kind of brought what I'm about to say a little bit into Icewind Dale.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love a full campaign adventure module around kind of like what Baldur's Gate 3 is doing.
I was just about to say Baldur's Gate 3 is
a new Mind Flayers galore, psionics going into the astral plane to go fight these dudes.
Yankee.
I mean,
space
dare
pirates.
I say into the Far Realm, or things are coming out of the Far Realm, the Far Realm's seeping into the material plane. I mean, that stuff would be sick.
I know both of us, and more so you, would be hard to please with that if it doesn't, when it gets to sort of the Eldritch Horror aspect of it, it's going to be hard to please you in that regard. So
if anyone is interested in that stuff, please go check out the Pathfinder book that just did an incredible job with it.
We need to dive into that
on the name
at some point.
There's a wonderful Pathfinder. I think there's 5 full-on books, a full adventure path that delves into this the Lovecraftian, and it is immaculate.
Yeah.
It's called... No, that's not it.
Th-
I don't know. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much content out there on Dungeon Masters Guild and whatnot, especially for this kind of stuff, because there just isn't enough Far Realms, Eldritch, horror, unspeakable stuff, because frankly, just writing about it is not Lovecraftian in and of itself.
True.
So
It's called
I would be
Strange
excited.
Aeons.
That's a really good title.
It's amazing.
I like
They handled
that.
the Eldritch stuff very good.
So back to the fighter, though. I know there's the Eldritch Knight, which is super spicy, but what the heck was Battlemaster builds?
That's
That's
I
not
don't
a
know.
class.
I know it's not a class. If I had to guess, maybe it's.
I mean, there's a
it's Wizard of the Coast.
Battlemaster,
I'm
not
thinking-
subclass, but like fighting style, right?
I'm thinking it's Wizard of the Coast, giving
Mhm.
you like an MMO build on how to make the fighter interesting. This is their
I can see them
cheat sheet.
putting that in there, honestly. That is one of the problems that people have had with the fighter. Okay, I'm down for that. I'm very interested in reading that. So for the monk, the monk, you got the Way of Mercy and the Way of Astral Self. The Astral Self was literally just JoJo.
Yep, from what I can recall
where
you saying.
Get, like progressively, like you get arms and then you get armor and then you get all of this version of your astral self that you can project onto you and kind of buff yourself.
Very
the Way of
cool.
Mercy, I don't remember what that was though.
That one was like almost like a healer monk class.
Makes sense. I was thinking like a pacifist fighter, like they don't damage anybody. I'm sure everybody's played with one of those friends that has a pacifist character and they just don't participate in any fights at all. Sometimes it's more complicated. Like in our campaign,
Daniel tried to do that.
Well, I mean, he does it when the circumstance calls for it.
Yeah, but originally he was not going to ever. We had a long talk about this when we first started the game. He was thinking about not getting involved in fights, period.
Would he ever heal us?
Yes, yeah, he'd heal you guys for sure.
Okay, yeah. Well, he does some of those cleric spells, or not monk, cleric spells specifically, do a lot of damage. Oh boy.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, the monk stuff, I don't really remember what Mercy was, but if it is that healer, then interesting.
Yeah.
Astral, cool.
Which, I mean, this brings up an important point, which I'm pretty sure we've talked about before. I worry with the addition of these subclasses that they're almost merging identities together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times.
And the monk,
Mostly,
the Way of Mercy doesn't just heal; it does a lot of other cool stuff too. But there is definitely some healing in there, so it's almost like a mini bard in a way.
I'm not opposed to like an agnostic system where there is no glass and you just put stuff together, but I still like having like distinct builds, if that makes sense. And I know as a warlock player, as somebody who really, really loves the warlock, that's the class that needs the most specific to it, and yet it has the least. And people in our Unearthed Arcanas that we were looking at started having things that were allowing them to get invocations, which, you know, it's fine, but makes me feel less special.
It's not fine. You were raging.
Don't touch my invocations. They're mine and mine only. My precious.
That's the true Braxton's coming out.
Yeah. No, I want to try to be more accepting and like understand that some people just want to have that cool stuff, but they don't want to play a warlock. I get it. I won't tie myself to a tree and prevent it from happening, but I won't like it.
All right.
Alrighty. So moving on to the Paladin. Oath of Glory and Oath of the Watchers. Don't remember these at all. Do you?
Glory is in Theros, actually.
Okay. That makes sense.
And the other one, I don't remember much, but I know we covered it.
It is in here. Subclasses Part 1 was our first coverage on it on the 14th of January. Oath of the Watchers for the Paladin. Noble Genie for the Warlock was also in there. RIP, that one sucks. It's so dumb. All right, cool. So I don't even remember. Let me see what it was. God,
I'm looking at it a little bit. It's interesting, but
protect the Moral from predations of extraplanar creatures. So literally the guy that I don't want on my team. Let that shit in.
Oh my god.
Give me otherworldly influence.
But again, they are bringing stuff from other materials, which honestly I completely forgot Theros was released this year. So
Theros, Yeah, lots of Magic the Gathering stuff.
More
Makes
Magic.
sense.
I mean, yeah, Magic needs to be more
I
into they own the product.
forget that they own the product, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think they need to have. People get upset with the crossover crap, but I mean, Magic is just a cool, we talked about already. It's just got some really cool stuff in it.
Super, super amazing.
I don't think they'd ever do an Innistrad one because that's basically just Ravenloft.
Yeah, basically just Ravenloft to that point. But hey, I love it. It's good shit.
I want a Ravenloft source book. That's what I want.
We'll get that at some point, probably. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Maybe not. Maybe Ryan doesn't think so. Maybe you don't want enough. That's why it won't happen. You know what will happen is the Ranger portion of this contents in Tasha's. They are a controversial class, and I hope that they bring some cool stuff. We got the Fey Wanderer, the Swarm Keeper, and the Beast Master Companions portion. They don't have that recent Ranger thing that we read, right?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that in a minute, but I'm very sad that none of these have the dragon ones, but it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, we just read it.
Makes a
The
lot of
dragon
sense.
one's so cool, but the Swarm Keeper and the Fey Wanderer, I assume Swarm Keeper's probably from one of the Magic the Gathering source books.
No, it's not.
Really? Is it from Unearthed Arcana?
Yep,
Okay, shit.
we covered it.
Damn. And the Fey Wanderer, don't remember that one. I promise. In about in about 3 more subclasses or classes, I'll start remembering a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, we covered both of them, and I didn't really have strong feelings on either. I think the one I'm most interested in is the Beastmaster Companions. I'm interested to see if they will talk about Beastmaster stuff at all. I really think they need to get the dragon, the Drake. What was it called? Drake Keeper or whatever.
Drake. Boy, I have a dragon.
That's what it's called. Drake Keeper, maybe? Drake Warden, yeah.
Drake Warden.
They need to bring the Drake Warden into an official material fast, because I think that's by far the best Ranger class I've ever read. Because when I'm a Ranger, I want to have my pet. I mean, granted, I've played World of Warcraft for a lot of hours, and you get a pet in there, and you can get other pets. You know, I think that's just ingrained in my head that the Ranger class needs to have this Beastmaster, this beast with them.
Didn't you just get back into World of Warcraft?
I played the free weekend, and I forgot today was Monday, and I clicked play, and I couldn't play, and now I'm balancing on whether I want to subscribe or not.
Oh, boy.
So don't talk to me about WoW. Okay?
I want to talk to you about it now. Oh. Didn't you just start up Final Fantasy again? 14?
Okay, man. All
Dude,
right. Is this the roast, Ryan?
Not roast. I don't want to ask. Did you? Are you still playing it?
I'm dabbling, yeah.
Oh my
okay.
god!
It's over.
I don't get much time for this.
I don't, but MMOs, they consume your life.
It's okay, dude. My life right now is literally work, right, for the live play thing that we're about to do in a little bit, and playing Genshin Impact. That is all I'm doing. If I'm not doing one of those two things, it's Genshin Impact. I'm not kidding. So I can't hold a stick to you either.
Yeah,
it's not the phrase I was looking for. It's what I said.
Delve into depravity together.
Oh boy. And then moving over to the rogue, another 2. It seems like they're trying to stick to 2 classes per thing here. I liked both of these.
Yeah, both are
the
great.
Phantom, which they changed, I assume is from the one with like the alternate lives, which they not only covered in our Unearthed Arcana one time, but it was a little wonky and kind of like stream of thought. They brought it back and altered it again and reined it in. And then I assume Phantom is what it is. So with the changing of balancing, they changed the name to kind of reflect it more, because it was really freeform. Like you could have any life before and you could get any memory as like you were a funnel for these lives to jump into you. Now this one is rather you had this life and you get these benefits. And then Soul Knife I really loved. I like summoning things. It's kind of like what's the class in, or the magic school in Skyrim where you not enchant things, you summon stuff. What is it?
No.
It's not evocation. No,
that's the word I was going for too.
What
that's
is
not
it?
it.
No, this. Oh my God, no, this isn't happening right now. School.
Conjuration.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that for me. Yeah, this is
I
basically.
think it's also called that in D&D.
It is. I was having a brain fart. It just turned to 12 a.m. Don't judge me. Soul Knife, but you're basically doing that, and it gets stronger over time. It's really cool. I like it. What do you think?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited for the next class. I'm more excited for the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer.
Oh yeah, Sorcerer.
I love that one.
Where we start getting into Far Realm stuff. That's what
when I thought
was.
We were getting the Psionic book when we
Well,
started.
yeah, I mean, you had the Psi Warrior and the Aberrant Mind, and there were a couple of spells as well that we'll probably run across in a second.
It was good.
That were all focused on it, so it's in here
Juicy.
at least. Juicy. It'd have been super suspicious if they didn't have those Psi focused things in here. Then we'd definitely been getting something like that. Both those were cool, and the Clockwork Soul.
Don't give a shit.
Nope. Don't care about it at all. But you know what?
Yeah, between you and me, man, I don't care for steampunk stuff. Period.
Okay, yeah. Really?
It's just not. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it.
It's not my thing either. But sometimes I appreciate the aesthetic.
I appreciate the aesthetic. It's just not interesting for me. Like there's some big, D&D stuff that's clockwork-esque, and I don't know. I just have not brought it into my games. What?
There's the Mordrin. Those dudes from the Plane of Order or the Limbo or wherever they're from. Or Plane of Order or something like that. And
Kobold Press has a whole bunch in there. Tome of Beasts lines. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
Well, we can swap from something that's just not your thing to something that's page 70 Warlocks. Jump straight there as soon as I get the book. Optional class features cool. Eldritch Invocation options cool.
Nice.
And what I thought was gonna be, a new subclass is actually just I don't remember what it was called, but the Fathomless. It's the one where you can literally lurk in the deep. You can put yourself in the maw of a giant sea beast and teleport yourself somewhere really far away. It's really cool.
I'm curious if they changed those at all.
I'm sure they altered it a little bit because if they're changing the names, oftentimes that reflects how they balance it. If not just being...
That last one, the one you can teleport people...
was
100 miles away. Teleporting period is rough as a DM.
It's getting teleporting pretty early and guaranteed. So I'm excited. Expect me to talk to you about it, but probably not.
What about your favorite one, the Genie?
No. They've turned it into some sort of pseudo healer support class, and I get it. It's cool, but it's like it's tacked on, and it's hard to integrate with any sort of play style you could do. Like it just doesn't meld well, and I really hope they add more of the tome invocations. They need more invocations specific to subclasses.
Yes,
we'll see what they do. I think that'd be a really cool one. So many missed opportunities with the Way of the Tome. Oh my God! Let's go on to Wizard before I get too upset.
Yeah, wait for the Warlock podcast, my friend.
Yeah. So for Wizard, one of probably the coolest sounding subclasses, Blade Singing.
Yeah, that's from the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
I don't remember that at all, but it sounds.
It's from a very old one.
Really, really cool.
And they're finally putting it into I guess Sword Coast is a they're taking it out of a source book and putting them into a full official thing.
And then Order of Scribes, which was in an Unearthed Arcana, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And something I want to take a look at are the page amounts for each of these classes. I don't think any of them really expand past 4 pages per thing.
No, they're not. They're not past 4 pages. Yeah,
like the Cleric has 4 pages. Okay, I think they kind of keep it the same for everybody. Ooh, Warlock goes for 5 pages. Nice.
Well, you got invocations to cover.
More content, please. And then Feats goes on for another 4 pages, which is why I was bringing up the page number thing, which is great. Love Feats. Super good. By the time this comes out, we'll probably be nowhere near in Ryan and I's campaign that we've been running for a few years, leveling up to 11, but I'll wait for it. So something I know Wizards of the Coast has been talking about lately is you've got all of these people of colorful backgrounds. Somebody who worships a otherworldly beast from the far realms, somebody else who is like a devout follower of some religion, and some other people like a pirate. Why the hell are these people together? Yeah. So they've introduced this chapter as well as a couple of content pieces. They talked about group patrons, and it begins with how patrons work here, and the rest of them are ways for you to more easily integrate or get that like first session going and having a connection between your characters. And
this was also originally in Eberron.
It was in Eberron?
Yes. It's almost taken directly from Eberron, from what I can tell, with obviously the specific Eberron group patrons taken out and more system agnostic things added in.
Yeah. Now, I've got to admit, some of these, all of these except for one, make a lot of sense. Like, right off the bat, let's do it, let's go. This is how I make a campaign about Academy, Aristocrat, Criminal Syndicate, Guild, Military Force. I would love doing it. I would love it. But having like 4 to 5 people all worshiping an ancient being, while that would be...
No, hold on. Doesn't have to be worshiping. Just helping out.
Helping out or contracted against their will.
Doesn't have to be malevolent.
But like, that's true. That's immediately where my mind goes. That one, you need to be real creative for that one, my dudes. Or have a group that...
Or it could be an evil campaign.
Yeah. That's the one I'm most interested in. But this whole thing goes on from page 83 to 103, ending with being your own patron. Excuse me?
Self-centered.
Sorry, hold on. I thought that said BYOP, bring your own patron. And now upon reading this, it says being your own patron.
It's like a self-help and motivational book.
Now, does that mean for the players or the DM?
We're still in the player section, so it's got to be that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. I am intrigued on that page. Put that down on the cliff notes. What do we got next, though?
Spells.
Spells.
So some of these spells have existed before, either in Unearthed Arcana or in other books. Like a Blade of Disaster is in Icewind Dale.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge section of Summon X things.
Yeah.
The Summon Aberration, Summon Beast, Celestial Construct, Elemental.
Everything else is fine. Summon Aberration's the best one. Sorry.
Oh, my God. They're basically the same thing, just for different classes.
Except Aberration's way cooler.
I don't know which one Summon Shadow Spawn, which class that's going to be for. Maybe it's going to be another Warlock spell. Maybe Wizard.
I highly doubt it.
Sorcerer.
Shadow Spawn is just going to be something from the Shadowfell, which I doubt they would lock to a class itself. You underestimate how few Warlock-specific spells there are. Like, they will not do it.
What is it? Is Summon Aberration not specific?
No. Oh. There's very few. And I get it. You don't want to make something for 1/6 or however many subclasses or classes there are, 1/8 of the entire group of people that play your game. I get it. It makes sense. But give me more.
These were in Unearthed Arcana.
The tattoo thing, specifically the summon ones. And then there's a couple of Tasha's thing. Tasha's Caustic Brew, Mind Whip, Otherworldly Guise. I see that word and I just go, thank you. Put it on my spell list. Booming Blade. Has that not been an official material before? Green Flame Blade?
I'm sure it has.
Like,
maybe not one of these, but it's definitely had. I mean, you've used it for a long time.
I don't think
it was from. It's from Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I've already seen.
You used it on your last character, right?
Yeah, I've had it the entire time. I've had it the whole time. Yeah. So it's beneficial for a while. And then Lightning Lure, I've even used that as well. Intellect Fortress is a newer one. Mind Sliver, Spirit Shroud. And then it talks about
Tasha spells.
Yeah, I just brought over those 2 as well, or those 3. I'm excited about those. But the thing I like the most that Ryan and I have been doing since we've kind of amalgamated my class being Hexblade, but for some style of Far Realms creature rather than the Raven Queen. They have a section on personalizing your spells, and it's only a page on 116.
We were literally just talking about this the other day.
If you don't like the flavor of a spell, everybody, change it to fit your thing. As long as the function is the same, if you're strict on following the rules of the content, the flavor doesn't affect anything except your enjoyment.
I'm even all right with changing type of damage.
Yeah. Like, there's a couple of necromancy spells that I have that I would be
like we should have done for your
Hellish Rebuke.
Hellish Rebuke make it ice.
Yes, that would have made a lot of sense. And actually, there is a Levistus tiefling that has a different thing. So we could have done that. I just didn't know it existed at that time. And then it goes into magic items, and a lot of them deal with the tattoos. But let's skim through.
He says a lot, but there's like 3.
There's a couple. There's 5 or 6. There's a couple that stick out to me, though.
What do you think Arcane Grimoire?
Arcane Grimoire. I don't know.
That's cool, man.
Oh, do you think it's like a Wizards exclusive thing? It's got to be a chunkier spell book, yeah?
Maybe. I doubt it's for you.
All-purpose tool.
I thought that said all-purpose toad at first.
That would be better. Change it now, but no, all-purpose tool. Alchemical compendium, I imagine, could be good for the Artificer Alchemist subclass.
I'm curious what all-purpose tool. Yeah, I guess it could be like a thing you have, like
a multi-tool.
Like the rod that can grow. Maybe this is something that can.
Oh boy.
You know what I'm talking about, man. It's the rod that can. The unmoving rod, or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh boy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Some cool things in here. Cauldron of Rebirth.
Astral Shard makes sense. Baba Yaga's Mortar and Pestle. Bell Branch. Barrier Tattoo. More There's a lot of tattoos. There's a lot of tattoos in here.
There's
okay?
a Far Realm Shard.
How do I get that?
And what does it
Listen,
do?
Where's the coast? I need you to open that page now and tell me how.
Yeah, you gotta get the Eldritch Claw tattoo. Yeah, that's your thing.
To get that on my face. Or my hand.
Oh, the Demonomicon of Igglewilf?
What?
The top right.
Demonomicon of Igglewilf.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce that.
That sounds really cool.
Wizard from Forgotten Realms, if I recall correctly.
Demonomicon. I'm from Demonomicon.
I mean, these sound cool. I'm down
okay,
with,
before you get to the one that I really want to read,
items.
Where is it at? Is that the one? Not the mighty servant of Luke O.
That's cool.
Some of these I wonder if any of these are like legendary.
Oh, I bet. You can't have because not the annoying, but the sad thing about Xanathar's is it was focused on common magic items.
Yeah.
On just items like
Planecaller's Codex.
That's cool, I guess.
That is cool.
It's the Xanathar's was focused on ones that you tell your players about, and they just kind of grown their, roll their eyes and groan because it's not a cool magic item. It's a cloak that billows whenever you say billow. It's not super exciting.
Except our party gets excited about them. Rhythm Maker's Drum. There's prosthetic limbs. So if you've been looking for like an official thing for that, that's in there now too. A lot of nice little items in here. I'm excited to read these. And I didn't realize the item you gave me, you've branded as legendary. And I was telling Kenneth about it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's not a legendary item. I was like, well, excuse you. I like it.
It's pretty legendary.
It talks to me. It does stuff. So yeah. Then he gets into the Dungeon Master stuff. I was just reading through a couple of the, and this item sounds so cool. There's a lot of shards. Shadowfell shard. I wonder why. It's Dungeon Master's tools. Channel 4. If you turn the TV to that, in the first few minutes, you'll reach session 0. Interesting that
there's a couple pages on that.
There's a couple. Wait, any of these items go on for like a lot of pages?
No.
Yeah, Luba's Taraka of Souls goes on for a bit.
What
else? Yeah. Looking at the items again.
You're right, it does. It might just be a big picture. Who knows, right?
It could be just a big picture. Could just be a big picture. Okay,
I'm excited. We've talked this before. Once we found out that Session 0 was going to actually have its section in Tasha's,
it's 3 pages. Very
excited. Yeah, we were
3 whole pages. So just forego all of our episodes and probably read this instead.
No, ours is going to be better than this.
No, it's just going to be on the PDF version. It's going to be linked to our episode, actually. We talked to them. We sponsored them.
Oh, I truly do think Session 0 is not talked about enough when people get into Dungeons and Dragons. Like, all right, let's just hop into the game. And then they run into so many problems and they wonder why.
Yeah.
This is why.
Then there's a Sidekicks tab. And I imagine that's like you've got not a lot of people. Maybe you're running with 1 person or 2 people or even 3. An expert, a spellcaster, and a warrior. And that takes up a good fair bit of pages from 42
Maybe.
to
See,
47.
I didn't think about that. My mind immediately went to Matthew Colville. Matthew Colville did this really cool stuff on retainers which is almost like secondary characters that the players have on backup just in case their character dies, but they're in the game already and they're like underneath them and they were working with them and seeing them off on quests and doing
retainers
stuff.
from Final Fantasy 14.
Kinda, yeah.
My reasoning for thinking it's what I said is because you've got spellcaster. You don't need a spellcaster unless it's somebody that fights with you, really, or warrior expert. Now, it could make sense, like only an expert can go on sneaky classes or only a spell quests, etc. Ad nauseam.
I did double check. This was actually an Unearthed Arcana in 2018.
What was it?
Sidekicks.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they've done and what they've changed with it. It says the rules presented here take a creature with a low challenge rating and give it levels as you gain levels. So it's like a little boy.
Little boy.
I think you might be. It is, yeah. It says in these rules, a sidekick is a creature who is your friend and who accompanies you on adventures. It's essentially a second character you play. So this would work very well for one-on-one DM and player.
Yeah,
they get a little person that they, instead of an NPC DM, then this is or a PC DM, then this is gonna just be.
That's got to be a really special relationship you have with somebody if you're doing a full ass campaign for one person.
It happens more often than you think.
That's really cool. Or it's just like somebody in a family holding hostage their mom or their dad or something. It's like, please, mom, let me DM this for you. They need a sidekick or something.
I don't have any friends.
I'm your friend, honey. Aw. And they play
D&D. Getting too sappy over there, man.
Parlaying with monsters. 2 pages on how to speak with them. You don't need to kill them. Parlay. Assume that's what that's going to be.
It happens a lot in our game, but I do think it's definitely more common for people just to go for brute force.
All right. Okay. Full stop. Best part of the entire thing is going to be from page 150 to page 162. I am telling you, supernatural religions, blessed radiance. We're going to skip over this one. Haunted, infested, mirror zone. What is that? Psychic resonance? Sounds cool. I'm going to vibrate psychically on the same plane as something and worship it as it's my religion. Unraveling magic. Far realm.
It says supernatural region. Not religion. Yeah, I was trying to interrupt you, but I didn't want to be rude, so I was letting you go with it.
I have egg on my face now, don't I?
I still think it's gonna be cool. I think the difference in the cool factor though is going to be.
Oh boy.
I feel like this is just going to be regurgitated information that is in 4th edition and 3rd edition books, talking about the Far Realm, talking about Feywild and stuff like that.
Yeah. So cool. What the hell is a mirror zone?
It's good to put it in 5th edition though. Very important.
What is a mirror zone? What if the page is just a mirror? They go, this is what it is.
Or you wait 7 days and find out.
That is true. That is very true. And then we got magical phenomena, which have some of the most metal names for things I've ever heard, ever. If you got a band and you need to name some songs, how about you name it Eldritch? That's my band name, Primal Fruit. That one got me.
Or Magic Mushrooms.
That's not as crazy. Primal Fruit. Eldritch Storms. Bruh.
What's up, motherfuckers, with Primal Fruit?
Nice. And then, hi everybody, we're Emotional Echoes. This is, we're gonna play the first 3 songs on our new EP. Hope you like it.
It's like the guys from...
the merch. We'll be by the merch stand after the show. Come and chat.
The guys from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh God, what is so sad or weird? I don't remember what it was. That was a good part. Emotional Echoes. Yeah, Enchanted Spring, Magic Mushrooms, Mimic Colonies sounds like the most terrifying thing fucking ever.
Yeah. You don't want to stumble upon a Mimic Colony.
No. Putting that in my game, though. Unearthly
That will basically
roads.
make your players never trust the surroundings again.
Will be awful. And you got Unearthly Roads, which I imagine like cloud highways or some shit like that. And you got natural hazards, avalanches. I imagine they're just going to chonk that from Icewind Dale. Falling into water in the sequel, falling onto a creature.
I think that's happened in our game a couple of times where someone falls onto a creature I guess that's cool now to have a specific mechanic around it. But
It's just
I don't know.
both of them are on page 170, also with spell equivalents of natural hazards.
all right, so I got a question for you.
Then puzzles ends it.
Yeah, it has to do with the last two puzzles. Puzzles in D&D. I've heard many complaints about how people will say you shouldn't have these puzzles in D&D and not help the players or not help the characters because the players are upset because you're not testing the character. You're now testing the player themselves. And if the character they're playing is very smart and can't figure this out, then they kind of feel like this is not my I'm destroying my character's RP here because I'm an idiot.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to work with that. I mean, depending on what the character's intelligence is or wisdom is, depending on what kind of puzzle.
That depends on the DM actually helping them.
Yeah.
Sometimes DMs will sit there and go,
well, then you're just stupid and you're a bad DM.
Puzzle.
You're stupid and you're a bad DM. The rules of the game are somebody can do a check to investigate their surroundings and world, and one of those is a wisdom or intelligence perception. And if you've got somebody that rolls really well on that, and they've got the proficiency, technically the lowest they can roll is how smart they are. That's like that's the worst they can do. And if they roll that, then they're screwed, and it makes sense in the context of the game. But they have a better chance of rolling higher, therefore you can one-on-one DM them or whisper into their ear or write something down, a hint, and if they want to share it with the party, do it.
So do you like puzzles in D&D?
Fucking yeah.
You guys have done pretty good with puzzles that I've given you.
I'm the puzzle master.
Well, I don't know about that.
If it's riddles, I'm good at riddles. But, like, half the encounters in dungeons are puzzle rooms and shit.
Yeah, you gotta have
everything.
puzzles. Honestly, puzzles almost go hand in hand just as much as Dungeons and Dragons go into Dungeons and Dragons.
Puzzles and Dragons. That's how it is.
It's not as fun.
I mean, I like puzzles.
Well, if you just have puzzles and dragons, you can't have the dungeons there too. You can't just have those
puzzles
two.
and dragons and dungeons.
There you go.
There you go.
That's what Gary Gygax wanted to call it.
PDD.
But it was too long.
With PDA. That's disgusting. Sorry.
Oh, it's disgusting this time.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Wear your masks or be safe. I don't know.
Mask up, asshole.
That's an unfortunate phrase. I don't know why.
That's what I should have on my. It should be a shirt we sell. Mask up, asshole.
Somebody will punch you.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
in my locations. Yeah, I like to deny that Chicago's not like the least safe place in terms of like guns and shit, but there was a gas station employee stabbed 27 times because they asked two people to put their masks on, and they're fairly normal looking human beings.
Wow.
Perhaps what's a normal human being? I don't know. Like they don't look like they're missing an arm and like blood.
That's something you would expect it to happen, in the South.
27 stabs because they asked them to put a mask on.
Right. I mean, that's the scariest thing about this type of situation is I at a psychiatric hospital I deal with people like that all the time.
Yeah.
But they don't have the weapons to attack me with them if I ask them to put on their damn mask or step away from this individual.
Mm-hmm.
When you're out in the wild, you don't know what's going on with these people that you're interacting with.
It's very true.
You tell them to tell the wrong person to put on a mask.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's spoopy. I just stay inside and with my primal fruit vinyl, and I will chill out as this content is satisfying, and it will be out on the 17th of this month. Maybe that's the day.
Exactly a week.
Maybe it's already happened. I don't know when you're getting to this episode. If you didn't know Tasha's existed and it's already past November 17th, 2020, you check it out. It's out there.
Yeah, so the plan is, guys, unfortunately, because this comes out literally on the day of a podcast release, we cannot have our review out that day.
I wonder if it comes out on D&D Beyond at 12 a.m.
It's even still, though, we can't go through the whole book and get a bunch of notes down, right?
We could. No, that would suck.
We need to, just like Icewind Dale, I think we need a week to digest it. Yeah. So then the plan is on the 24th to have our big boy review talking about our thoughts in Tasha's Cauldron of everything.
Maybe we'll bring somebody back for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Depends. If they're
the old round table.
A round table, metaphysical and imaginary as we talk over the waves of the internet to you.
Hey, Braxton.
Hey, Ryan.
We're the Dungeon Crawl.
We are those people.
Before we leave, though, I do want to ask you, Braxton, do you want to mention what's happening next week to the party, to the
I'm
people?
stressed about it. Oh, boy. All right. We've been doing some stuff over the past, I would say probably like 6 months. Have known that we wanted to do a live play thing, and I was like, all right, guys, I need time to make this, and also I need time to procrastinate it. It's November, because it's usually when I visit my hometown, quote unquote, where I go to college, and we're gonna do our session 0 and our session 1 of the live play, where I think we'll record it. It's not gonna get.
Yeah, we'll record it at the very least. And if we don't want to post it, we won't post it. But we'll at least have it recorded just in case.
But they've got their characters. I've got the world, and I'm adding some final touches to it. And we're gonna get that underway. They're gonna play test their characters, settle into maybe a voice or like personality, something like that, and then we're gonna work on getting a live play out to you guys. I would say beginning of the year or something.
Yeah,
it takes a little bit of time to get like the artwork.
I'd say so.
But expect that whenever it comes out to be another podcast created by Ryan and I with Kenneth, who you've met, and with Jamie, who you've met.
We'll probably stream it too if we can get the logistics worked out on it.
Oh yeah, it'll be complicated. But if you're interested in meeting Kenneth or Jamie and, getting your ear holes warmed up to the sound of their voice, you can check out, I believe, Running One Shots. Jamie was on that one, and Kenneth has been on the episode for the Shadowfell and our Icewind Dale review as well. So check those guys out. They're some of my best friends in the world, as well as Ryan is. And we're going to do a live play that hopefully you're going to be interested in, and it's going to be a blast. That was wholesome. I didn't mean it to be.
Yeah, it was a good plug.
All right, you primal fruits. Usually, if you want, you can talk to us on social media at Dungeon Crawl Pod for the tweeters and the Instagrams. But as well, if you're looking to send us an email as to why we probably shouldn't do a live play because we suck, you can do that at thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. And there's a secret message from the Ryan that's sitting over there on the other side of the pond.
Hey guys, if you really want to help out the podcast and let me know, your thoughts, then please, I beg of you, go to the iTunes. Sorry, I gotta stop calling it iTunes. Go to Apple Podcasts.
It's like, how old are you?
And
iTunes. 20-something years old.
Yeah, go to Apple Podcasts. Find the Dungeon Crawl. Maybe you're already listening to us on there, and I appreciate you, but make sure you hit the 5-star option. Leave us a review. Tell us your favorite Primal Fruit song. And, it really helps us out a lot. It boosts us up in the algorithm, the all-important algorithm, so more people can come check us out. And it means a lot to us.
Hey, Ryan.
What's up, man?
Oh, come on.
Hey, Braxton.
We're the Dungeon Crawl. Thanks for listening to us, guys. I'll see you next week for Tasha's, which is going to be super exciting.
Well, that's when it comes out, but that's something we're going to be talking about on the podcast. Who knows what we're doing?
We'll do something. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll go into depravity.
Jesus. We'll be in person, though. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm visiting the friends. It's going to be so much D&D next week. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're getting this D&D overload.
This is in 1, 2, 3 days, technically.
Yeah. I won't even say. I might see me if I can organize it before I go to work one of those days.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be hanging out with the friends Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. My God, that's gonna be fun. So much D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to you guys next time. Stay safe.
Peace out, people.